okay. I think it's time for us to pivot a little bit.
Pivot.
You are very well known for working a 16-hour week. And everybody wonders if they know you, because some people will say, oh, she's just an owner that like owns a business, but she's not working in her business.
Yeah.
That's not correct. But you and your husband also feel the same, that it is really important to have a priority on your family and to really have your business work for your family versus you working for your business. So tell me a little bit about how you got to that spot. Like, when did you figure out that that was sort of a need? And then how did you end up like actually making it a reality? Because that's the hard part too.
Yeah, totally. So I love having this conversation. So thanks for even asking that. The 16 hours originated because in 2009, when we moved here and I had a baby and I had a new mortgage, and it was the start of the recession, or we were like in the red hot heat of the recession in 2009. My husband lost his job. I had left my wedding photography business back in Virginia, had a new baby, didn't have clients in Florida, just had like maybe a few that I had gotten off the knot. I mean, we were like, that was the year that we went on food stamps. He could not get a job to save his life. He's like applying 100 places a week. No one will hire him. That's how bad the economy is then. We're living off of.
It was bad. Yeah.
Oh, so bad.
That's when I started my business. Bad timing to start a business, but I did it.
Yep. And we had, I think I said this, we had moved from Virginia to Florida. So we had no family, new mortgage, new baby, no job. So rock bottom. I say rock bottom. That actually sounds a little dramatic. We were loving life. We had a new baby. Like, we had just moved to Florida.
Yeah. But not living the life that you had previous. Let's just put it that way.
It was, I could barely, like, I was taking my calculator to the grocery store and like had to, spaghetti is going to cost me $1.09 times 7% tax, or, whatever it was then. No. So those were the days. And my husband started his business, and I'm trying to make like any buck that I can as a new stay-at-home mom. And 16 hours of childcare was all we could afford. So that is where the 16 hours comes from.
That's so interesting.
That is all the pennies I had. Even that was a stretch, but I was like, okay, I could hire a friend who would watch Chloe at a discounted rate for me. And I could pay her X number of dollars an hour at 16 hours a week was all I could do. That way I could, when I was working, I could be all in on work without feeling any mom guilt.
Exactly.
And then when I was home, the other days, I was only giving 2 days of work, 2 days a week to my business. The other 3 days, I could be mom. And that was like where I wanted my priorities to fall. And also, to be honest with you, when I first had Chloe and I was trying to run business the way I had before I had kids, and then I had her, what I found, even though I wanted to be a mom, I was so excited to be a mom. We had planned on it. Like, we had prayed for her. Like, I was so happy to be a mom. But when I was faced with a crying baby or a customer, a client I could, like an inbox I could clear out, or a client I could serve, I resented the crying baby and not the customer or the client.
And probably feeling like you failed at both.
Oh, and feeling so much
I know that feeling
over that. And like, so I knew that what was happening was I was defaulting to resenting her and not resenting the work, because I loved the work. And I was like, wait a minute, this isn't how I want to be. Like, I see my propensity. I love what I'm doing. I love feeling good and being productive, and being a mom doesn't always feel very good or productive. So I knew in that moment that, like, I got to set things up in a way that I can do work without feeling guilty, and I can be fully present and be a mom and keep the priorities in order. So it's like 3 days a week mom. Really, it's, 5 other days of the week mom.
Yeah.
2 days a week work. And I just kept that because my kids were home. I had more kids, and I just wanted to have that amount of time that while they were under my roof, I was mostly mom, and then could like kick butt as a business owner the other 2 days of the week. So I have never not worked 16 hours. I've only ever worked 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday, because that is the days that she could do childcare. And then when she went to preschool, we did the Tuesday, Thursday, all day option. Like, that's where that came from. Now my kids are more grown. My daughter turns 13 today. I know, crazy.
Are you crying? Oh my gosh. I remember that when I first hit 13. I'm like, I'm not ready.
I really, honestly, I'll probably cry tonight. I haven't let it hit.
Okay. All right.
I can't go there right now,
Sorry.
Jen.
Well,
But
and
it
I
goes,
know you're feeling also because like I have a non-negotiable that at Tuesdays I spend it with my adult daughters and my granddaughter.
yes,
I'm making my
yes,
grandchildren a priority,
yeah,
and I will find a way to work the
yeah,
business around that day.
yeah,
So I
exactly.
get it. I get it.
Exactly. And my kids are both in school full time now. So technically I could work 5 days a week if I wanted to, but I don't, because there's a lot of other things I love in life, like my husband, my marriage, my friendships. I like going outside. I like gardening. I like meeting up with a friend for lunch. I like taking care of my house. I like cooking. I'm a multifaceted person. I'm not just, my only legacy isn't my work. We are each whole people outside of what we do. And so I want to give time and space for all that other stuff that I love and the people that I love. And so I've just kept it 16 hours. Like, I could do more work. There's endlessly more work to do. And the fallout of working 16 hours a week is things happen so slowly. It's not like idea one day, like most scrappy entrepreneurs, execution the next day. Like the average entrepreneur who's a solopreneur has an idea for a in-person retreat, and the next day the sales page is up and they're taking pre-orders. That is not my reality, and that has never been my reality. It has always been like, here's an idea. Okay, I'm going to need some help. Who can help me with this? I can only work on it a few hours a week. It's going to take me 6 months to launch this thing. And so I've had to grow really slow, although I would argue it hasn't been crazy slow. It's been like
No.
pretty great, but we can't execute very quickly. There's a ton of stuff I have to say no to all the time still, but 16 hours is just my sweet spot. Fridays, Graham and I take the day to have a date day because he's an entrepreneur too. So that's when we do our marriage counseling, and that's when we go out to lunch, and that's when we like work on the marriage.
Have
That's
me time or couple
me
time.
time. Like,
Yes.
that's our
Yes.
Friday. We work on the marriage. We spend time together. Mondays and Wednesdays, I usually pack all my errands and stuff into Mondays. And then Wednesdays, I'm trying to do nothing. I'm actually trying to like create Sabbath for just myself. It's a very novel concept
Good.
where I just putz around the house and like don't get very much done. And I sit and I think, and I can spend
Read and whatever.
I can
Yeah.
do whatever I want. So anyway, that's the
Smart
genesis.
though. And I feel like too, it's a slippery slope. Like, even though your kids are in school and they're at a certain time, then you have to like, if you worked every single day, then you have to readjust when summer comes. Like it's more, for me, it feels more stable when you have a set schedule.
And more
So
sustainable.
yeah, and more enjoyable.
And more enjoyable. I'm less likely to burn out. I mean, I haven't burnt out. Like you're less
No.
likely to burn out because you're just, and it really does help you make decisions, because if you're like, I'm only going to give this X number of hours, it really helps you
And you're
dial in
focused, I bet. Oh, yes. I know Wednesdays are my most productive day because Tuesdays I'm not doing anything except being with my granddaughter on the floor getting bruises. And then Wednesday I'm like, okay, I got to hit it, real hard. Now you mentioned your husband. He is a new author. It's a phenomenal book. I will put those in the notes.
I say
for
thank
sure.
you as if I wrote it.
Well, did you not support him? I mean, I'm just saying. And he's a business owner, or rather two businesses, I think, that he runs. Have there been unique challenges while you're not working in the same business with each other, and you're not necessarily even working from home together, but what kind of challenges have you had, and any tips that you can give for people who are like, my husband took a day off today and I'm like, why are you here? Like, I have work to do. I'm getting on video right now. Go out of the room. So what are your tips, or what challenges did you see?
Yeah. So Graham is also a phenomenally talented business owner, and he was kind of forced into entrepreneurship during the recession, maybe very similar to you. He didn't have any other options than to try to put bills on the table by creating a business. He had no intention of being an entrepreneur. So he had the Recording Revolution is what he was originally known for. It's an education site that serves musicians, artists. He's a producer, audio engineer by trade. So he built and scaled a business primarily off of YouTube and blogging before that was really a thing. And now he has a business under his name, Graham Cochran, and he launched recently got published for How to Get Paid for What You Know, just trying to help other people build online platforms. So I say all that to say we've been both business owners together for most of our married life. We got married in 2005 and he started his business in 2009 and I already had a business. So we've shared an office together with side-by-side desks. That did not work. Let me just tell you how quickly that had to go. That did not work. And it was my fault because he's in the audio space. He'd have his headset on and I'd be like, babe, let me tell you about this thing. And he's like, yes, honey. I'm like, is this important? But I just wanted somebody to like share stuff with. Anyway, didn't work. So the unique challenges, let me cut to the chase. The unique challenges are, it doesn't matter how few hours you work. It is hard to shut your brain off. And you are always thinking about the business in one form or another. So that's the biggest challenge for us. Is that he only works 4 hours a week in his business. It is stupid. It's so irritating. And he's built a 7-figure business and another 6-figure business, and he works 4 hours a week in it. And it's just makes me so irritated. No, I'm so proud of him. I'm so happy for him. But his brain is in business owner mode all the time, just like my brain is in business owner mode all the time. And it's hard, even though we have parameters over like when our computers are going to be open, when our laptop's going to be open. Like we're very solid on boundaries as it relates to like neither of us work in the evenings after 5. It works for our family to work during daytime hours. I know that doesn't work for everyone. I'm not shaming you if you
No. It's about finding different. What works for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So for our family, it's best for us to work while our kids are at school. So come 4 or 5 o'clock when we get home, there is no work laptops open. There are no business pushes to the phone. Sometimes we've gotten a little bad about that lately. There's just so many more platforms. So anyway, we try not to have any work related pushes to phones after 5 o'clock, no work on the weekends, no work on the evenings, because we can set up our work in such a way that it happens during the day, but you just never shut off business owner brain. So we have to have those boundaries, and that helps us so that we don't just default back to there's always more work to do. And it does help that we're honest with each other and hold each other accountable to that stuff. Like I know he's going to like totally throw shade if I'm standing at the kitchen counter answering a work email and he sees it. Like he's going to be like, I'm not on my phone. Yeah, exactly. And if he's out back answering a Vox to his team member, I'm going to be like up against the window, like, who you talking to? So I think when we let each other in and don't get defensive about it, it helps, because then we have an advocate, like we're advocating, even though it might burn a little bit in the moment when someone's like, are you working? We're advocating for each other's health and for our family by holding each other accountable. So
yeah, I find for me, it's the opposite, because my husband works out of the home. And so when he gets home, sometimes that's my most productive time is during that time. And he'll just look at me after almost 25 years of marriage. He'll look at me and I'll be like, okay, laptop's closed. That's another one for another day. So I am working on that myself, actually.
And everyone's different, and the needs of everyone's family are really different. So it's really not about working 16 hours, and it's not about just working from 9 to 5. It's really just, are you willing to ask yourself and your spouse, if you're married, your family, your kids, is this working for us? Am I healthy? Are we healthy? Like, are we okay with this? Are we connected? How's our marriage? How's my health? How are our finances? Do we have friendships? Are we involved in any kind of community? Have I put real clothes on in the last 2 weeks? Like, these are all important.
Stop asking that question. No. But you're right. You're absolutely right. And I'll get on a roll where I'm working too much. And my adult children will point it out. So I'm like, I'm taking a day at a time, but the feedback is what's important, I think. What you're talking about.
Humble. Like being humble enough to receive feedback and not be defensive. Well, I have to. Well, no one else is going to do this, or it has to be done now. Like I am trying to stay in a place of humility where I'm like, they are for me, like they're advocating for me. So if I can let them
Mhm.
speak into it, and if I'm willing to be honest with myself about how it's going, and I'm willing to be receptive to their honesty about how it's going, then we can work together to create a work life rhythm that really does serve our family.
For the whole family,
For the
yes, and
whole
having
family.
your kids involved in that as
Yep,
well, because they will
exactly.
be honest with
Oh,
you.
yeah, they will. They will let you know exactly what they think.
Exactly. I'm curious, this is not a question that we've had, but your children grew up with you two having
Mhm.
a business, separate
Yes.
businesses.
Yep.
Are they inclined to be entrepreneurs, or are they inclined to
Hmm.
do something different? I'm just curious
No,
how
I
that
mean,
works.
Chloe is like Graham's mini me. And so she wants to be a YouTube celebrity. Like she wants to be famous. Like Graham grew up wanting to be an actor and a musician and a rock star and like on stage and on screen. And that's Chloe. So from day one, she's like trying to make, we won't let her be on YouTube, but she's allowed to have a Roblox account that her face is not on. And that's like the closest she can get right now. Like I won't let her be on social media, but I'll let her be on Pinterest. So she has like a Pinterest account where she puts her aesthetic preppy teen vlog videos
So
on.
cool.
She's on Pinterest, but she's not on social media. So she loves all of that. I don't know that she thinks ahead towards like, how could I monetize this? Like,
Yeah.
could I build a business? She wants to be a million different things, but she 1,000,000% has seen parents who are on camera all the time. So she very much could like, she could do this interview
In a
easily, like
heartbeat.
in
Yes.
a heartbeat. That she's cut from the same cloth that we are in that. And then my littlest, like, I don't know, she's just here for a good time. So she's camera shy. She doesn't want to be like front of house by any stretch, but she's just the sweetest like supporter. And who knows? She wanted to have a bakery for the longest time. We'll see if that holds up. But I
That's
don't know. I
so
don't know if it's
cool.
rubbed off or not, but I think what we've wanted to teach them is that money comes from hard work. And so if you want to have money, all you have to do is work. And everyone has something of value to offer the world. Do you love dogs? I'm sure you could help someone else out with something like that. Are you really good at math? I'm sure you could build a business that helps people with that. So, if anything, what I hope we've instilled is that money comes from work, and
Mhm.
hard work equals
Mhm.
more money, and that every single person has something of value to offer the world. They can choose whether or not they want to monetize it, but everyone has something that they can share and teach or give away that will help. So I don't know. I hope they
Yeah.
pick
No, that's good. And I always throw in also that if it's not something that you love doing,
up. Mhm.
you don't have to do it. Like
Yeah,
do
right.
something different,
Isn't
right?
that an amazing time in the
Mhm.
world that we live in, that you actually, many of us, maybe not everyone, but a lot of
No.
us have that
Mhm.
option. Like
Yeah.
you can go do something else.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, we're going to start wrapping it up. And I always love to ask this question of the people that I have on here. What are three things that have helped you to grow your business? That could be tools, it could be advice, it could be
Yeah.
mindset, it could be
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So that's such a great question. I should have like prepared to answer in advance, but the things that come to mind are being known for one thing is very helpful at creating exponential faster growth. When you are known for one thing, people know how to refer you on. So you are known for Pinterest marketing. Like there are not very many people that I know that have raised their hand and said, I'm a Pinterest marketing expert. So anytime I'm in a conversation with a small business owner who's talking about, I really don't know what to do on Pinterest. Oh, guess what? I know a girl who knows a lot about what to do on Pinterest. Now, is that the only thing you're good at? No, you are multifaceted, multi talented, but you have raised your hand to be good at a particular thing. And I think that will give you more traction. And that's how I saw what all that I do take off, is that I just raised my hand and said, I will create images for female online business owners, female entrepreneurs. And nobody else
Perfect.
was at the time raising their hand to say that. And so when someone needed product images or needed brand images but couldn't afford a brand designer, I came to mind. Etsy Stock Shop came to mind. Social Squares came to mind. So resist
That's
the
great
urge.
advice.
Yes, you can try a million things, but I really do think of it like an inverted triangle and start with something that you'll be known for. And then you can expand later, but be known for one thing so that you're referable. So that'd be my first thing.
That's such good advice.
Second thing would be, I really do think forcing yourself to work less does create more revenue.
And
Because,
more focus,
yes.
right? For me,
So
if I
I
have
think,
all the hours in the day, if I only
yeah,
have 2 hours, I tend to get way more done in those 2 hours.
exactly. I think it's Parkinson's law that says that you'll fill the amount of, like, a project will take the amount of time that you give it. So if you give yourself 40 hours a week to work, your business will take 40 hours a week to get it done, and you'll probably still not get it all done. If you give yourself 20 hours a week to work, you will find a way to get it done in 20 hours a week. And couple that with Pareto's principle, which is the 80-20. Like, if you know that 20% of your effort is generating 80% of your results, then what if that means 80% of what you're doing as a small business owner is a total waste of time and is only generating 20% of your revenue? This is not my idea. This is statistically proven
No,
to be true in the marketplace,
it's
but also
very
in a lot of
irritating.
areas of life. So what if you figured out what that 20% is that's actually driving revenue? And what if, whether you work 10 hours or 100 hours, what if you just did that 20%? If you have 20 products, chances are 20% of your products are generating 80% of your revenue. What if you scrapped all of those and you focused all your time and effort and energy onto those 2 products that are actually generating 80% of your revenue? Mathematically, if you're doing the math, then no matter how many hours you work, we're talking then about 4xing your revenue, 5xing your revenue. So there's actually strategy and power to working less, working more intentionally, doing that 20%, even if you take all of your hours and you just do that 20%. So I'm just going to give you those 2 tips, because those are 2 good tips. And if people will do them, it will change their businesses.
So powerful. Okay. Whew. So tell folks
Yeah.
what Social Squares has, because a lot of people assume it's only the images.
Yeah.
And I will even step forward and say, those are great.
Yeah.
But the community and the education are out of this world.
Awesome.
So talk a little bit about that.
You did a great job. I mean, I don't know what's more to say. No, so Social Squares is, like we mentioned, it's a stock image membership. And as a part of that membership, you get access to, like I mentioned, a growing catalog of, right now it's over 6,000 highly curated images. This is like really, really just our most favorite, best stuff. No crap in there. But in addition to that, you also get caption prompts if you want to use those on Instagram or for content. And those kind of fall under the 5 content buckets that we think all business owners need to be talking about online. So regardless of how you're talking about it, Reels, TikTok, blog posts, YouTube videos, these are the things that every small business owner needs to be showing up and talking about within their business. So we give you content prompts for that kind of thing monthly. We give you marketing education. So we've done this a variety of different ways, but we'll have special guests on to teach different pieces of content related to usually digital marketing strategies. We've had Jen on there talking about Pinterest marketing. So we'd really try to bring in people that will be helpful. There's a community there. We're always trying to over deliver, but really like connecting women with other small business owners, helping to spread what they're doing. So there's a lot going on there. I hope my fingers are crossed. We haven't said this anywhere yet. I don't think, not on any podcast, but we are so close to launching video stock. I know. I should have
you heard it first here.
We're in the middle of a ground up site rebuild that is just a beast, but I think we're going to be able to start adding in video stock. So we're just trying to continue to expand to just provide women with whatever tools they need from an image and like visuals perspective to show up consistently online. And they can find that at socialsquares.com, but really they should go find it at socialsquares.com/Jen, because what Jen has done for her community is she's made a way for you guys to have 20% off your first month. And actually, I think that you could get 20% off of any of the packages, which means I think you could get 20% off of the quarterly or the annual, which makes it like, we don't even advertise that because it's like stupidly way too much money off. Like we get zero profit
Like
margin.
you're giving it away. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that, so on that page, socialsquares.com/Jen, there is a code that lets you get 20% off your first month, but I'm pretty sure you could use it in any plan and get 20% off the total cost.
So search around and look for all the little things, because it is a great deal to do the annual FYI. But the other thing that I want to say about it that you wouldn't, but I'm going to, is it is the most positive, helpful community that I've ever been a part of. So if you're, because most entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, are kind of by yourself. You feel like you're kind of on this little island, and people will put questions on the Facebook group and everybody comes to help. It is truly an amazing community. It is worth the price. Not even talking about all the other great things.
Sure.
I mean, for sure.
Listen, I used to be a commercial photographer. I know the value of any given image. We used to sell images in the Etsy stock shop and people paid for them $79 per individual image.
Yes.
And we sold them like hotcakes. And now you're getting access to 6,000 plus images for $39 is the current.
It is literally insane. And let me be, just from a marketing perspective, utilizing free images from Canva or Upsplash or Unsplash or wherever that you're looking for them will not be as effective in your marketing. I'm just telling you. How many times have you seen something on social media and you're like, I've seen that picture before. That's not very creative, right? Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your valuable time, especially because you do a 16-hour week and you let me into this little piece of your week. And I really
favorite way
appreciate
to
it.
use my time.
What is the best way that people can get in contact with you?
Yeah. So on Instagram, you can find Social Squares at Social Squares, and you can find me on Instagram as at Shay Cochran. And I'm not really cool enough to be on any other platforms. Actually, Social Squares did just start being on TikTok. So technically you can find Social Squares on TikTok. I think it's Social Squares Official. We're just experimenting on TikTok. Oh my gosh. Nothing makes me feel older than trying to be in a TikTok video. So
your daughters could probably help you. I am definitely going to go follow that. Everything that we talked about, if we talked about anything like for Shay's husband's business, all of that kind of stuff will be in the show notes. So definitely check that out. And I always like to say this, listening to education, getting great sound bites, learning is wonderful. But if you don't put it into action, you're not moving your business forward. So please take one piece of advice that you heard or go sign up for her Social Squares, because it will literally help you with your marketing and end up saving you time. I hope you all have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.
I gotta stop recording. I don't even know where